Okay, so we are back on. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So, okay, welcome back. We're into part two of the application now, essentially, and that would be, for me, I would jump over to the academic history tab as my second piece. This one's going to be one that you could do quite a bit with, you could do quite little with, and I'll kind of explain why as we go. Now, my recommendation would be to add all of your colleges. So for me personally, before I started my doctoral program, all of my education was here at California State University, Monterey Bay. So I'm going to go ahead here and just put in my undergraduate degree just for the sake of time. And so you can see all the various CSU campuses here. So I would select my own personal campus, and then you would go ahead and let them know if you earned a degree or your degree's in progress. Super important here, if you are a degree in progress student, it's not gonna necessarily impact you now at the application level, but what it's gonna impact you later is after you've submitted, and let's say that you've been admitted, you're going to have to resend in your final transcript. So you would give us your in-progress transcripts now to give us the ability to determine on if you can, be a fit for the program, and then you would ultimately have to resend in your final transcripts to the university that you're applying, in this case, CSUMB. So select which one is most applicable to you there. For me, it would be that my degree is finished. You're going to basically let them know what type of degree that was. So in my case, it was a Bachelor's of Arts. I finished it roughly 6-7 years ago now. So I would go ahead and notate that. And then what your major is. Now, if you went to a college like CSUB, where the majors are a little unique in name, it might not be something where you can really find because since I'll give you an example, my degree was human communication. I doubt you're going to find this in this drop-down box. So you can see there's a lot of humans, but there's no human communication. So my degree is really, in any other college, would be called an English degree. So I would go ahead and select the major that's closest. If you were a double major, you can go ahead and include that by adding another degree and clicking this box, so on and so forth. Or if you got 2 degrees at the same school, you would also use the add another degree button right here. So I could include my master's degree from CSUB. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. And I'll go ahead and scroll down. You'll let us know what type of system you used in terms of term system or semester system here at CSUMB. And then what you can do is let us know when you started and when you finished. So this is already, I'm already getting it incorrect here. So I started in fall back in 2008. So let me scroll down there, do that. And then I went ahead and I finished in the spring semester, which would be a May finish. And this would be when those of you who end up doing the MIS program would end up graduating, and walking across the stage here would be May graduation day. Okay, and then if you are still in progress, and you would once again go ahead and click the check if you are still attending this college. If you are a degree awarded student, and let's say you're doing some extra units, even at, let's say, your local community college, or taking a pottery class, if it's graded work and it's awarded units, you're gonna have to report it no matter what. So let's say you're taking, to go back to my example, that pottery class at your local CC, you're gonna have to go ahead and report the college and then click that you're still attending it, and then you will send us in those transcripts. And I know it can be silly sending in transcripts for kind of personal interest class, but the reason that's the case is we look at your last 60 units that you took at the university level, and it's so long as they're graded units from a regionally accredited school, then they would count towards your overall GPA that we use to either admit you or not admit you. And at the CSU statewide, we require 2.5 or higher undergraduate GPA cumulative. Okay, so let me go ahead and save that college there. And so then it's going to allow me some other things here. So it's going to show that my college is attended. It's got a green check mark. Obviously, you're going to want to add any college that you attended. For me, it's just 3 universities. It would be the community college that I attended for just 1 semester before CSUMB. And then also, if I wanted to, I could include Fresno State, which is my current college. But since I'm not applying, obviously, I'll save you all the time with that one. So the transcript entry is an interesting one. You don't necessarily need to do this. I would recommend you don't do this, and that's primarily for sake of time. And then secondly, not only to save you the time behind it, but also just you're going to have to send in your transcripts either way. And we require, just before you even submit, unofficial transcripts that you download from your school or a scanned copy of your transcripts that you have laying around at home. So we're going to see this stuff anyways. Save yourself the time of doing the manual entry. It's so time consuming to enter each class with each individual grade. It's crazy. So don't do that to yourself. Just go ahead and click on not adding any college transcripts. Boom, you're done. Okay. Then you move over to GPA entries. You're just going to have to add a rough estimate to your GPA. Obviously, your transcript's always going to trump what you include on this website. So just go ahead and click Add GPA. Just do the best that you can here. You're going to let us know your school level first and foremost. So the degree that I'm sharing is an undergraduate one. I believe I took 128 credit hours if I remember correctly. And then it was like roughly a 3.8 GPA that I got. Quality points, it does it for you. I have no idea. We never use that. So no worries there. But the other three are the things that you're going to have to take care of there, which is your school level, credit hours, and GPA. Go ahead and save that. And then you could add more GPAs. Let's say if I included my master's degree that I did here at CSUMB, then I could also include my graduate level work, the credit hours, and set GPA. Okay. All right. Standardized tests we do not include. It's a common question. It's a good question. The only standardized test that would be relevant to anybody would be potentially the TOEFL test or the IELTS test, or any other test like the Pearson test of English, any other test for English proficiency for non-resident students. And this includes, and this is an important one, this also includes domestic students with international documents from foreign universities. So if you, for example, went to school in Asia, and that's where your undergraduate degree was from, and let's say it wasn't taught in English. So if your degree was taught fully in English, or you went to school in an English-speaking country, no need to worry on that front. If you did your degree anywhere else in the world where English is not the primary language taught at the university, or by means of which your classes are taught, you're going to have to take some test of English, whether that be the TOEFL test or the PTE or the IELTS, whatever that might be, you're going to have to take it. Personally, I would recommend the TOEFL, computer-based TOEFL. It's up to you. It really doesn't matter too much, but we do have test thresholds that you would have to hit. Once again, this is going to be pretty rare and going to be pretty specific to your own individual case. For almost everybody else, you're not going to have to submit anything. The most common question is, if I've taken the GRE, or do I need to take the GRE, should I include it? If you've taken it already, absolutely include it. It's just another data point for us. If you haven't taken it and this is your top program of choice, don't take the GRE unless you have less than a 2.5 GPA. If your cumulative undergraduate GPA was less than a 2.5, or your last 60 units of college credits was under a 2.5, then taking the GRE can be a benefit to your application. Otherwise, everybody, including international students or domestic students with international documents, do not take the GRE, and that's probably going to be true in 99.9% of cases of applications. So in most of you guys' case, you're just not going to add any standardized tests. That was a long, rambly answer to tell you you're probably not going to include any standardized tests. So this section's pretty easy if you skip the transcript entry and the standardized test sections, which you should absolutely do unless you need to report said standardized tests, or if you feel the need to put in that transcript entry, which could be the case if you're an in-progress student. That might be relevant, but even then, I really wouldn't recommend it. So do try to skip these two sections if you can. It'll make the application a little bit quicker.